All right, it's time to turn them notes into gold. But before we get into that, I want you to loosen up, dance, have a good time. While you're dancing, dance your way over to a pen or your tablet so that you can take notes, right? Definitely take digital notes if you can, because you'll be able to save them and not lose them. But this is going to be awesome because you're going to discover how to literally turn your notes into gold. That means to monetize them and make them something that you can use. Okay, so get ready, get excited. It's time to turn your notes into gold.
Hi guys, T. Davis Cole. I'm going to show you how to turn your notes into internet gold. Alright, so the objective today is to help you awaken to note-taking methods that get you paid. Alright, so today we're going to cover the importance of note-taking in internet marketing. Alright, in the 5 major styles of note-taking. We'll also cover thinking versus transcribing and how to turn your notes into internet gold. I'm also going to discuss tools for effective note-taking. Alright, so let's get started. Turn your notes into internet gold. Okay, so one idea could make you rich, and that was Earl Nightingale said that. Alright, so the importance of taking notes in internet marketing. Alright, it develops your ability to recall important information, helps you master primary concepts, aids your creative process for new ideas. Alright, because when you're able to recall information, you can easily master new concepts, which prompts new ideas. Alright, so being able to prompt new ideas is very important, especially when it comes to internet marketing, to be able to use concepts and be able to pull from those concepts and come up with those ideas. So I'm going to show you 5 note-taking methods to help you find the goal, right? So you can get the most out of your internet marketing notes. After all, you're not sitting at the computer for an hour, 2 hours, or however long watching a training just for your health, right? You want to get something out of it that you can utilize and apply to you building your business, right? To help you achieve the success that you need to achieve in your internet business, okay? So the first method that I'm going to talk to you about is the outline method. All right, so in order to utilize the outline method, you would create top-level bullet points of all the main concepts in the lecture. Okay, so just taking this lecture for an example, okay, these were the subjects that we were supposed to discuss, or that I just told you we were going to discuss. All right, so you would put those main subjects in the main bullet point area. All right, so the importance of note-taking. The 5 major note-taking methods, right? Transcribing versus learning. How to turn your notes into internet gold. All right, so then you will make lower level bullet points to fill in all of the details. Okay, so let's just take the first thing that we've already discussed, which is the importance of note-taking. That is a major bullet point. You see it over here? Okay, so then you will make the small or the lower level bullet points, okay, which is recall information, master new concepts, create new ideas. So that would be the outline method, right? When the speaker says, okay, we're going to discuss this, this, and this, you would put those down, leave a lot of space, all right, and then you would go fill it in, again, with the smaller, lower level points, okay, so that you could just kind of match up the information. All right, for me now, the internet has become the best way for me to take notes. I used to have a lot of notebooks, and even in some of my trainings, I tell you guys I have a note-taking notebook, and I still utilize it, especially when I'm on the go, right? When I'm on the go and I have to sit and wait for, you know, karate lesson or something like that, and I want to pull up information on the internet that I'm researching, okay, I'll bring my notebook and then I'll transition it to the internet. But I'm telling you, you know, it's easier a lot of times to go ahead and take notes, save them in folders, because a lot of times with folders and tablets and stuff, that stuff gets lost, and then sometimes you go back and you can't remember even what you were talking about. So that really helps. So you can always do this like in a Microsoft Word document or anything like that, where you create the bullet points and then create the lower bullet points to fill in the information. And that is the outline method. All right, so the Cornell Method All right, so the note-taking column would be on your right side, okay? And this is where you would write like the major notes, and kind of put the notes in your own tone, right? What are you getting out of the training? I can recall and master information to create new business ideas. The outline method and the Cornell method will help me organize information effectively. So those are the notes. Even though that sounds kind of different from what I said, that's the way you perceive the information, or that's the way you are conveying the information, okay? So you will write that in your own words in your note-taking column, and then on the left side, you would later, right after you have watched the training, you have put all the major notes into the right side column. Later on, you would go in and you would write in cue items that will help you recall where this information came from. Okay, so internet marketing notes. Internet marketing notes help you do what? Recall and master information to create new business ideas. All right, and then 2 major note-taking methods. We know there are 5 that I'm going to discuss, but we've only discussed 2 so far. So you would say the outline method and the Cornell method will help me organize information effectively. So when you see this cue, 2 major note-taking methods, your mind is automatically going to think, oh, the outline method and the Cornell method. All right. When you see mastering information and recalling information, your mind is going to instantly think about internet marketing notes. That's how I can master and recall information. All right. And that is the Cornell method. Okay, there's one more part to this. All right, and then at the bottom you want to do a summary. All of my notes, I go ahead and put who the speaker was, where did I find the training. I will even put links in case I need to refer back to the training, or I need to reference something, that I've researched or whatever. All right, so you would put, if you were, let's just say you were using the Cornell method for this particular training, you will put How to Turn Your Notes into Internet Gold by T. Davis Cole. All right, then you will summarize. Note taking in internet marketing is super important because it can help me recall and master information for the development of new ideas. New ideas are essential to my online success because it only takes one good idea to make me rich. There are 5 major note-taking methods, and then you start naming them: the outline method, the Cornell method, blah, blah, blah. All right, so that's how you do it. All right, major note-taking on the right-hand side. Later on, go in and fill out the cue notes, and then go ahead and summarize to ensure that you have mastered the information, or you've at least given yourself the ability to recall what you have learned, okay? All right, so the mind map method. Okay, so the point of this is to place the main concept in the middle, then place the subtopics and little branches around the core topic. All right, so this is basically a mind map that I made of this training before I put the training together. I like to map out all of the ideas that I'm going to be utilizing so that it makes it a lot easier to go ahead and put together the training. Now, if you were taking notes, though, you would put the notes here, how to turn your notes into internet marketing goal, and then you would put the importance of note taking and put those concepts there. Then you would put over here just different things about the lesson. What was the next thing we talked about? You put those concepts there and so forth. Okay, so that's how you use the mind map method. Now later I'm going to show you some tools that's going to help you utilize the mind map and different things like that so that you can actually implement this stuff and start making notes that turn into gold. Okay? And also just taking good notes so that you can utilize those notes to help you come up with new concepts, to help you understand your niche and understand your field better, but also, again, to trigger your mind to new ideas and new thought processes, okay? So that was important to me as well. So all of that just came out of, I wonder how I would even start doing a training on note taking. Why? Because notes have been just fundamental to my internet success. Okay, and if you look at some of the most wealthiest people in the world, they're known for reading and taking in a lot of information and just expounding upon other things that people have already said. All right, but just to making it their own and adding to it and doing further research. Okay, so that's how you actually explore new ideas, right? There's nothing new under the sun. I know we would all like to think there's something new under the sun, but there's nothing new under the sun. Maybe someone even tried a new idea or something and may have not, maybe they didn't have the technology for it to come into full fruition, but most of the time, most of the things that we think of, someone's already thought of it, okay? So it's all about you gravitating to information, doing research, finding out what's not really being said, adding your own spin to it, okay, and then spitting out something that your audience can really understand and will appreciate, and it will help them achieve massive success in your niche area, okay? So this mind map process is very helpful, not just for note taking, but also, again, for putting together trainings and to think things out, to think things all the way through before you put together a piece of content, okay? The flow method. Okay, so the flow method was originally created by a man named Scott Young, and he was known for completing an entire computer science curriculum in 1 year. And I think it was like a 4-year program or some long program, okay, in 1 year. And that's because he discovered how to take in information and learn it the first time. All right, so a lot of times, I know for me, still, even to this day, I have to take notes. I have to review my notes. I have to, really organize them so that I can understand them better. And this is a new method that I have not, in fact, tried. I've just done some research on it, and I may, in the future, begin to incorporate it into my business. All the other methods I have incorporated, I have incorporated them into my business. And because I always teach you guys to do that first, I wanted to make sure that you understand that this is something that we all have to try together, because it's new. It's very new, okay? And it's something that hasn't been out for a very long time. So we can all try it and see how it works out. All right, so, but his whole method is to really draw images, okay? So you would be like drawing a picture of a notebook, and then you put, little bullets, how to take good notes, the 5 major ways to take good notes, and just different things, okay? And you could draw a picture of you being happy because you learned a new concept, blah 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 blah. All right, so when his whole idea was, when he walked out of the classroom or when he finished the training, he didn't want to go back and have to reference, okay? He wanted to just be able to know the material and to be able to move forward, and that was a way to accelerate learning, okay? To accelerate learning. Guys, my voice is a little scratchy, so please bear with me. I'm trying to go ahead and push through this training here. But yeah, so it was all about accelerating learning. And so that was the whole point of the flow method, to accelerate, to be able to just kind of put these images together from the depiction that you're getting in your mind as the teacher is talking or as you're going through a training. So if I'm telling you, okay, how to turn your notes, your internet notes, into gold, okay, maybe you're getting a picture of taking your notes and trading them for money. So you would kind of draw a little stick people or whatever, all right, and then you would draw arrow, how to do that, right? How do I do that? I follow these different methods. These are some ways I could take better notes. All right. And then some other things I'm going to show you later. So that was the concept. So perhaps you can walk away from this training and know what you need to know to conduct further research to come up with your own content. Okay. And, you may even get an idea that has nothing to do with note taking, but it's just that you were trying to learn how to take better notes in your niche area so that you could provide more value for your market. But perhaps in that training somewhere, there was just some sentence or some great idea that gave you a spark of energy, right, that could produce a new idea for you, okay, whatever that is. This has to be about note taking, all right? But he was just saying, you could draw these pictures and you could convey the message in a way that you understand, and because you're doing that, you are learning your way versus having to learn a specific pattern. So hey, sounds great. All right, so the write on slides method, I have used this method especially when I was going to nursing school, and I decided and learned very early that was not for me. That was way before law enforcement and all of that. All right, it was like, okay, people tell you nursing pays well and all this, so you're thinking, hey, I should do, this is what I should do. And that's what happened to me. So I got into this microbiology class, and I'm telling you guys, the notes were ridiculous, and so I would print out all these slides and I would just take notes on the slides. I had no idea that I was using the write on slides method. All right, so the way you use it is you literally download the slides. If you have a training and there's a workbook available or even a review sheet, you would download that, okay? And then you go ahead and write your notes directly on that. Now, I've done this many a times, okay? And then you would focus more on engaging with the lesson. So you don't have to remember all the main points. Why? Because all the main points are on the review sheet. All the main points are already on the slides. So now all you have to do is write down notes that's going to help you memorize or remember what it is that you need to remember for whatever your project is or whatever it is that you have to do or for whatever reason you're learning. Okay, maybe you're learning to take better notes again because it's something that you need for your niche and you need to, maybe you're a software developer or something, okay, and you're just learning how to take better notes because you have to consume so much information to understand HTML and JavaScript and all of that stuff, okay? All right, so are you thinking or transcribing? That's a very important question, okay? Because ultimately, you gotta find a way to say, you know, I'm actually thinking, because really thinking is where the new ideas come from, not just transcribing information. All right, so you gotta ask yourself, you know, do I remember the main ideas from the training? Okay, let me give you an example. How many of you out there have read the book Think and Grow Rich? You're probably like, me, I've read it, me. All right, so can you tell me the main concepts in that book? Okay, what was the one thing that he was saying was going to be in every chapter, right? Every chapter there was some concept that you were supposed to grab a hold to that was supposed to help you think and grow rich, okay? What were the 17 principles to success outlined in the book? So those are the things. And how did you, reading that book, how did you get that information really transform and transition you into some new ideas? Okay, how did it help you build your business? How did it help you in your life? Okay, so if it has not done that, then you need to go back, right? You got to go back. You got to read it again or listen to it again. You can probably find it for free on YouTube. And you want to take notes. You want to take the kind of notes that's going to help you, right, cash in the things that you just spent your time learning into something tangible in your life, right? It doesn't mean copy everything from the book and then rewrite the same book. It means I'm taking in this information and then I'm thinking about it. And because I'm thinking about it, it's producing new ideas within me, sparking new waves of energy in me that I could go out and put in the marketplace, right? Because, you know, at first I thought about, are you learning or transcribing? But you don't want to just be learning. You want to be thinking. So I made sure that I changed that to thinking, because you don't want to just, again, reiterate something someone else just said, okay? You want to make it new and put it out in an exciting way and add value to it, okay? All right, so thinking versus transcribing, going back to the ultimate question, do I remember the main ideas in the training? How did that training affect my life? Did it really help me think better? Did it help me in some way transform my life? If not, this may not be the book. It may just be the method to your note taking, or the method to the way you think about the things that you're learning. Okay, so one good way to determine if you are thinking, and rather than just transcribing, of course, you know, transcribing is just writing down a whole bunch of stuff that someone's saying. All right, they have them in the courtrooms, right? When someone's testifying, there's a transcriber there that's typing it all up and all that. That's not your job, right? Your job is to be innovative, right? To think, to remain on the cutting edge of your field, to develop thoughts and old concepts, all right? To develop them and to make them better, all right? And to, out of things that you hear, to come up with new ideas because you have been inspired. So now you're being an inspiration. All right, so that is what thinking is all about. All right, so can you paraphrase what you have learned in a way that it can be received, okay, by your audience? All right, can you conversate about the topic? All right, have you ever heard someone talking about something? Maybe they're talking about the political campaign, okay? Perhaps you've heard little things about those who are running for president, different things like that. but you're not really clear. Why? Because you weren't really listening. It's just something that kind of passed through your brain. All right, so when others are talking about it, you can't jump in on a conversation because you have no idea of the details. Okay, so some of you are like that with learning, especially when it comes to internet marketing. Maybe you've heard of SEO. Maybe you have heard of solo ads. Okay, maybe you've heard of JavaScript. Maybe you've heard of HTML. Maybe you've heard of email marketing. Maybe you've heard of different things in the internet marketing field, but you can't have a conversation about it because even though you heard a training about it, maybe one was playing while you were doing something else. Maybe you were in the kitchen fixing a sandwich while the training was going, or maybe the training was going, you were laying on your couch with your eyes closed saying, well, yeah, I'm listening, but you're not thinking about the information. That's how you stay on the cutting edge. So so being able to hold a conversation about the material you just learned doesn't necessarily have to be specifically the same topic, but just being able to implement that into something that you're doing, okay, into your niche, into your specialty, all right, will let you know if you were thinking about the material or simply transcribing the material. Okay, so can you teach the information? All right, so if someone else was struggling, saying, oh man, I'm really having a hard time taking notes, I'm a software developer and, so much information, I'm just feeling overwhelmed. Can you say, oh, wow, I just took a training on note taking, okay? And here's 5 major ways to help you take better notes, okay? And also to show you how you don't have to be transcribing so much, right? Just start thinking about the information. You could even draw little pictures that will help you better have an image of what you're learning. All right, have a better image of what you're learning and not have to rely so much on just writing down everything that's being said. So if you can paraphrase, conversate, or teach the material after learning it, then you have been thinking, right? You have been thinking, and that's what we want, for you to be thinking. All right, so cashing in on your notes. Cash in on your notes. All right, so here's how you turn your notes into gold. All right, your internet notes. All right, jot down key concepts that really stand out. So you're searching for gold, meaning you're going to write down all the major concepts, because when you first tune into a training, it's too early to dismiss potential profit. Okay, it's too early. That's just like if you were tuning into this training for the first time. You just need to write down all the major ideas and different concepts. Why? Because you don't really know what's gold and what's not, because you got to listen to the whole thing, and then you can run it through your brain and decide, okay, I need this, I don't need this, or this was very helpful, this can help take my idea to the next level, or this generated a new idea, or whatever. So just don't focus so much on trying to find the goal the first time around. All right, so when you listen to a training, just write down again the main concepts. All right, so then you want to organize and rewrite. This helps me learn the material, really helps me learn the material, because when I rewrite my notes, I don't focus on all the information. I only focus on the information that really resonates. Okay, so you want to focus on the information that really resonates with you and stands out as possible topics for further discussion. Okay? All right, so acknowledge new ideas. As you're rewriting information that stands out to you, ideas for new content will often emerge. Write those ideas down immediately, and sometimes they don't even have anything to do with the training, because when I was doing my training on the power of listening, okay, really the whole note-taking thing came out of that, because they were talking about, writing some things down in a meeting, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh my goodness, right. If you want to listen, you got to learn how to take good notes so that you can have, the new ideas. And then out of that came this whole other concept about, expectations. The expectations that you have when you're listening to people can kind of, harm you and keep you from listening to them truly, because you already have some kind of preconceived notion about this person or that type of person or whatever. Okay, so that could cause you to have a blockage. And they were talking about, not having an expectation really, and really hearing someone they're talking and blah, 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 all this different stuff. But out of that was birthed this whole idea of how to turn your your internet expectations into a reality. Okay, because of what I was listening to, a new idea was sparked in my mind, and it created another training. So out of that one training came, let's see, 2 video trainings and audio, actually 3 video trainings and audio. And that's not even counting when I blog about it to drive traffic to the trainings and stuff like that. All right, so that's a whole nother level. That's in content management. But I just want you to know that when you actually take time to listen, right? To think during the listening and not transcribe, but to think, okay, to write down the main concepts. And when I say write down all the main concepts, that don't mean write down everything word for word, but just write down the key points. Okay, so that later when you rewrite your notes, you can only focus on the points that resonate with you. Okay, and then as you're rewriting the information that stands out, new ideas emerge. So what you want to do with those new ideas is write them down immediately. Okay, then you want to take some time and do some research. Okay, conduct a keyword search on the topics that have evolved. All right, you want to make sure there's a demand in the market for that topic. Okay, and then don't let your ideas expire. Okay, so just getting it written down, maybe doing a little keyword search. All right, because just like milk, your ideas have an expiration date. So if you don't preserve them by taking massive action, all right, then they'll spoil. Okay, so once you know that your ideas are in demand, okay, then you start the content creation process right away. That could be, you know, again, I showed you the mind map that I use to just kind of map out my notes for today. Okay, but you know, you can go ahead and map out your ideas. You can make a training, a video training. You can make an audio. You can make a video. You can, I already said video, but you can write a blog post. You can do all kinds of things with it. But you just have to develop it. Do the research. Okay. All right. So then you get paid for your notes. Okay, because you take the valuable content that you've created from the ideas that you've generated from your notes, and then you exchange them for resources. All right, that means just taking one idea. Okay, just doing research on how to take better notes led to how to turn your notes into internet gold. Okay, I'm getting paid for the concept right now because you pay for this training that you're watching right now. Okay, so that is what I'm talking about. All right, so just turning that stuff into money. Okay, also, even if you're providing a free video or free training or whatever, that's still driving traffic, getting new subscribers, and all that jazz. Okay, so, you know, taking that valuable content, all right, and exchanging them for resources in the marketplace, because what you're doing is taking concepts and helping your audience better understand it. Okay, so they can get results in their business, in their life. Okay, so they're going to exchange resources with you because you're providing value for resources. All right, so tools that you could use for note taking. All right, so Evernote is a great, you know, tool. Then, you know, they have a free and a paid access, okay, service. So you can go over there and write and organize your notes. You can access your notes virtually. That is the great thing about Evernote, is because a lot of times if you write notes and you save them in a Microsoft Word document, okay, well, you can't log in on your computer later and, you know, read that. I mean, you could upload it to Adobe and then download it to their database and all this different stuff. But the great thing about Evernote is that you could just log in and read your notes, because a lot of times, like if I'm a car line or I'm doing something else, I can pull up my notes and go ahead and start strategizing for my training. So when I get home, I don't have to spend all day doing the strategy part and all of that. All I have to do is pull out my notes, the things that I've written down, jotted down, the things that I've, you know, strategically planned, mapped out or whatever. And then I just start plugging it into slides and making videos, or I'll go ahead and do an audio recording or whatever. Okay, so Pocket, this is a free service. Okay, this is sort of like a social network. But what it is that, say for instance, you're doing a training on note taking and you run into an article that you really are interested in. Maybe it takes things a little further. Maybe it kind of takes you a nab outside of note taking. All right, you want to go back and you want to read that article later. Well, you go ahead and save it to your Pocket, because when you save it to your Pocket, you can read that later, maybe when you're in car line, all right, or something like that. Maybe when you're waiting for karate practice to be over, cheerleading practice or whatever. All right, so you place the articles that you want to use for further research into your Pocket, and then you go back and read it later. there. You could even place entertainment. So right now my Pocket isn't really being used for internet marketing, not too much, mainly for articles that I want to go back and read later about different stuff, because that helps me not get so distracted on the internet. Because if I'm reading or if I'm working on something, maybe just note taking, and then something pops up or I see something that I want to read about, maybe about a celebrity or something else. All right, I'll go ahead and save it to my Pocket, and I'll save it under celebrity news. Why? Because I want to go back and read it one day. Who knows when? And even if I never get to go back and read it, it makes me feel better that the article's there versus me right in the middle of my work time, right in the middle of my income producing activity time, stopping what I'm doing, okay, and then reading this long article that leads to some YouTube video that opens up to another YouTube video that takes me to Facebook. All right, and then completely takes me off track. Save it to Pocket, move on. All right, so that is a good service. Again, you can open that up anywhere virtually, okay, and read notes, read articles, watch videos, different things like that. Cool. That is a free and paid service. You can create mind maps, diagrams, and a lot of other things. It's kind of similar to mind maps, but it's cheaper than mind maps. I'm telling you guys, this monthly stuff can add up when you start, getting your autoresponder, your landing page service. Maybe you have a 1-800 number depending on what you're doing, or one day you have 1-800 number. Then you have, different services like, to be able to create images and all kinds of things. All that stuff starts to add up over time. Audio hosting, video hosting, managed WordPress hosting. Okay, so you want to take advantage of the low-cost services that pretty much do the same thing of the higher price services or the free services, right? If you are not going to write more notes than the free service, why pay for it? Okay, go ahead and get the free one. That doesn't matter how rich you are. That's just, good financing. Okay, so you want to take advantage of the low-cost services that pretty much do the same thing of the higher price services or the free services, right? If you are not going to write more notes than the free service, why pay for it? Okay, go ahead and get the free one. That doesn't matter how rich you are. That's just, good financing, right? So you can create mind maps and do all kinds of things like that. I'm going to go ahead and get out of this for just a second because I want to show you some of those. Let me get out of that. The first thing I want to show you is some notes that I took. Okay, now this was like the bullet point style notes. Let's go to these. Okay, do you see how crazy this is? This was about listening. Oh my goodness. I was just jotting down stuff that was like, ooh, that's good. Ooh, and different things. These are several different trainings just combined. It's like blah, 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 like throw up on paper, right? This right here I highlighted it red because I was like, wow, that's a whole different training, right? I could use this material, just this small amount of material, do further research and develop like 4 more trainings out of that. Like, that's so good. All right. And then all of this stuff, blah, 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 a lot of misspelled words. Who cares? It's just when I'm watching a video, I just have a little Word document up. And whenever I hear something that's really, really good, sometimes I'll let it continue to play if it's just somebody sitting there talking. But if it's a lot of images and a lot of things that I need to see, then I will pause it, okay, and then type my notes real quick and then go back. But I can listen, right? I can listen and still type. And I really don't need to see everything that's going on. Again, unless it's like my SEO training. You don't want to do that on the SEO training. Why? Because there's a lot of information that I'm showing you, and I'm going to the computer system and I'm showing you things, so you don't want to miss that. So you want to pause it when you want to write things down. But on this, you could let it play a little bit. Sometimes you go back because there's images playing and different things like that you want to see. But overall, you could take notes right here and then you save them. You save them in folders, guys. You need to learn to just have a lot of folders, guys. Have a lot of folders because I hate spending my time, looking for information. And even though I have a total game change business, let me go back over here. So even though I have a total game change business, I still save a lot of different things under different folders under Total Game Change. Like I may just have a folder for just my planning stuff, for project planning, employee planning, just different things. Okay. Content planning, blah, 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 blah. Anything to do with planning is going to go in there. Scheduling, planning, all that. Okay. And then I'll have another folder under Total Game Change for PowerPoint. Just all my PowerPoint presentations goes in that folder. Okay. Then I'll have another Total Game Change folder for videos. Those are videos that have been transcribed into, video from PowerPoint. Okay, now those go into a separate folder. Then I'll have, like blog posts for Total Game Change. That goes into a different folder. Why? Because I don't want to look, that's a waste of time. That's a waste of time to spend hours looking for one piece of content. And guys, I have lost content on my computer. I have thousands and thousands of files on my computer. I have lost content that I've spent 2 or 3 hours creating because I can't find it. I don't remember what I named it. It's just like, oh my God. All right. So you want to make sure that you do save your information into folders, and rough draft notes go in a different folder from notes that are transcribed. Okay. Completely. All right. So, but what I wanted to show you is from that ugly piece of paper, misspelled words, all that drama going on, came this beautiful training on the power of listening. All right. And so here it is. And even when I wrote these notes, I went ahead and set myself up for success. Why? Because I don't want to go back and rewrite them for the audio. So as I was changing my notes and putting my own information in and putting extra research and all the other stuff, I went ahead and set it up for the audio. Okay. Opening quote, blah, blah, blah. Icebreaker, so I know to change my tone. The bottom line, this is serious. Then now I'm having a conversation. So I'm just talking to you in a way that you can understand and connect and relate. All right. So that way, my key points are bulleted. So I'll know to transition my voice as I'm speaking, all that different stuff. So, all of that came from that ugly, ugly paper right there. Okay. And then this training, I was doing a lot of research, and so I put all my notes together in the bullet point style, but then I went to over here to this piece of software that I was telling you can create diagrams and mind maps and stuff, and I just outlined it here for my training, which made it a whole lot easier for me to map everything out. Okay, so let's zoom in. I don't know here. Zoom in. Okay. All right. So hopefully you guys can see that. Usually there's like a little zoom in thing. I don't have time to be going through all that. But the point that I'm making is that I sat here and I put it all out in a mind map. So now it's just so easy. Instead of me going over here right now, all these notes, to me, it was just for that training, for the note taking training, it was easier to do a mind map. So you can use different methods, okay, with your notes. And again, you're not using the exact notes that you heard. You're just taking the main ideas that really stick out, and you're doing further research, and you're creating trainings based on your niche and your market, all right, that work for them, okay? So Evernote is one. Again, this is where I go ahead and put my serious notes, the ones that I'm going to actually do audios and use for other stuff. Pocket, I told you, this is not internet marketing stuff, okay? But this was something that I wanted to use for inspiration. When David Bowie died, I really wanted to I just wanted to stay with that story all day because I love him. And I just wanted to stay with that story because I remember him in The Labyrinth, which was one of my favorite movies and still is today. I own that movie. All right. And y'all gonna make me cry, okay? But it was just such a beautiful story. I kind of got off track, when I was doing my research because I started reading about him and when he was talking about dying and how, the hardest thing for him was to leave his daughter, and it was like he could feel life leaving him. So I was like, oh my God, this article is so good, and his last interviews were so freaking awesome. So you know what? I was like, I have to finish my work today. But tonight on my free time, I'm going to just hang out with the last words of David Bowie because he's so freaking awesome. He was so freaking awesome, and I want to read all about it. So I went ahead and saved it, and then because I saved that one article, I could do further research, right? Click on the articles connected to that and get more articles and, all of that. So that's it. So mind maps, saving articles on the internet that you can go back and look at later. Evernote, you can take your notes. Finish this baby up. Okay. All right. So yeah, there it is. All right. So those are the resources. I will have a PDF downloaded this so that you can go ahead and access it. All right. So you can use those tools. And yeah. Why? Because there are over 2 billion people who download and upload information on the World Wide Web, and that is a huge number. It's a huge number, so you need to know how to organize your information. You need to know where to put it and how to place it in a strategic way that's going to help you not get overwhelmed in the process, you guys. That's why you want to use those tools. You want to use the folders. One thing about internet marketing, you cannot be lazy. If you are lazy, you will not survive, okay? Because you got to be paying attention. You have to write things down. You have to transcribe things in a way that you can transform them into thinking, right? Okay, so you taking it in. It's kind of like you're taking the information in. Let me rephrase this. You have to take in things, okay, so that you can transform things into something awesome, okay? So with 2 billion people on the internet downloading and uploading information, okay, you've got to be strategic about how you categorize this information. All right. That's why I was telling you about the folders and all that, because guys, if I didn't have a system, I wouldn't be able to do this. I would quit a long time ago. Because that's just too much. Sitting on the computer, spending 30 minutes looking for one thing, and, or just wasting time in the car line when you could pull up an article on Evernote and go ahead and start, planning out your content. I mean, guys, you gotta be organized. If you don't know how to be organized, you gotta learn. All right, till you can hire somebody that is organized, they can do it for you. But that's the only way that you're going to be able to really, truly utilize your time effectively and get the most done in your day. All right, so here's some tips, because again, there's over 2 billion people, downloading and uploading information. So much information on the internet, and you want to take good notes, and you want to make sure your notes help other people and that they're freaking awesome. So the first tip is to stick to one subject at a time, right? Again, that's what Pocket is for. If you run across things that you want to read and look at that, even if it's slightly off topic, let's say, again, you were just focusing on maybe a traffic strategy. You were focusing on a traffic strategy, and let's say the traffic strategy was solo ads. I kind of talked about this in last training. All right. But then there's a great article that pops up on SEO. Yes, SEO and solo ads are both traffic related, but what are you going to be learning today? Are you going to be learning about solo ads, or are you going to be learning about SEO? Okay, so you have to save it to Pocket. You have to go back later and say, hey, when I am doing my research on SEO, I am coming back to this article. So that's one way to stick to it, to stick to one subject at a time. Okay, so tip number 2 is, conduct the proper research to verify your information. Again, over $2 billion. $2 billion. I think I'm going to leave that in there because that's freaking hilarious. All right, over 2 billion people, are downloading and uploading information, all right, to the internet, okay, and close to 3, right, according to recent statistics that I've studied. All right, so you want to make sure that you conduct the proper research to verify your information. You cannot just take one person's, when I say one person, you only want to have a few mentors. I talked about that in the last training. But when you're studying a specific, like say you're studying just SEO techniques, or you're just studying solo ads, all right, or just like when I was studying note taking, yes, I did find out about the 5 major ways, but I went ahead and Googled that and just made sure that was, consistent, that it is, the 5 major ways to taking effective notes. Okay, so that was like kind of like the meat of the subject, but I had to go do some research, and then I had to bring it home into a way that is, creative and innovative. Okay. So yeah, you want to make sure, I'm not saying going from table to table, I'm just saying verifying your information. That means sometimes you can Google a topic and you don't even have to click on the article, because right there, 5 major ways, and there it is, the outline method, the Cornell method, blah, blah. Oh, okay. And this was from the University of whatever. Okay, that's valid. All right, so yeah, originally I ran across it on YouTube, and then I was like, oh, let me study this further. Okay, and then from there, I went ahead and did more research. So that's what you're really paying for, guys. You're paying for the research that people have done so that you don't have to go and do it, because even trainings that I pay a lot of money for, all that different stuff, that's stuff that you don't have to pay for. Why? Because you get access to it because I'm teaching it to you. So that's research you don't have to do. But when you are studying certain specific techniques and you run across something randomly on the internet, YouTube, whatever, you want to again go verify that information, make sure that's consistent, and make sure that you have a reliable source as well attached to that, to say that, okay, there are 5 major ways to take good notes. Now, there are more ways, but these are the major ways, and these are the ones that a lot of universities and different things are using. All right, so this is very valid. All right, so then tip number 3 is create new content with old concepts that can bring fresh insight to the marketplace. All right, so it's okay, right? It's okay to learn, right? Learn new things and to go ahead and execute those things into your business, and then to show others or train others how to do it. Okay, so discover, execute, train, and repeat. Discover, execute, train, repeat. That's how you become an expert. Okay, meaning you're gonna have to research old content. Okay, because just like when I was at the University of West Florida doing some literary studies, okay, that's what we did, right? We would find something that a literary artist had written, okay, and then we would go ahead and expound upon that, what's not being said. Then you go to the journals and you find more information. Now, you don't have to be that in depth for internet marketing, but what I'm showing you is that this is a concept that's been around for a long time. All right, so you're taking old concepts and you're bringing them into today's, techniques and strategies, okay, techniques and ways. Like the old way to build a business was what? Have the home meetings, right? Have the home meetings, call your friends and family, blah, 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 blah. But today we know, right, you have internet marketing. So you have the world wide web at your fingertips. So now we do virtual meetings, right? We do, traffic strategies and all kinds of things to get new customers, right? Heck, we don't even care if our families join anymore. It doesn't even matter, right? Because you don't necessarily have to go that route anymore. So to be out there teaching that would be insane, right? It'd be insane to just, have a training on, how to get more people to, your house for a meeting, when today we've transitioned from that industrial age, from, the hands-on thing to the technological age. Yeah, it's great once you have a big following, virtually, to have a common place for everyone to meet for seminars and stuff like that. But, in the interim, webinars are fine. All right. So that's what I'm telling you, to create new content with old concepts that can bring fresh insight to the marketplace, right? The concept is the same. Get a whole bunch of people in one space, right? For one to hear an idea or to hear a concept. All right. But the new way is the webinar, right? So just log in. You can be in your pajamas. Doesn't even matter. You don't have to drive anywhere. Just click a link and you're in. And I can share a concept with you. So that's fresh insight to the marketplace. Okay, so those are the tips, right? Don't get off track. Stay focused on one subject at a time. If you really want to read that later, save it to pocket. Do what you got to do. Conduct the proper research to verify your information. So if you're focused on one particular strategy, focus on that, all right? And then verify that is common among what's going on. Then you want to take that a step further by what's not being said, putting a creative spin on it, adding some stuff and making it, conducive to your market. All right. And then creating the new content with old concepts and bringing fresh insight to the marketplace. If you want to change your life, you have to speak directly to that victim inside of you and tell that victim to get out of there. And say, that's not me. That will never be me. I'm not a victim. I'm a powerful human being who has opportunities, who has tools, who has the ability to change my story.